All right, we have breaking news from yesterday. I just did the recap. That recap will be, I think it's already uploaded. So go check out that recap. But this is after the recap. Immediately after the game was concluded. They have the Dolphins itself have made a statement yesterday, approximately 10 p.m. Statement from Chairman of the Broad Managing General Partner Stephen M. Ross, the owner of the Miami Dolphins. He states, "I want to thank the players and coaches for the hard work throughout the 2024 season, as well as the fans for their support. As the owner of this team, I am ultimately accountable for our success and failures. We fell short of our expectations this season. I understand and share the frustration in our performance on the field." Well, you better be, because we're all frustrated with how you even handle all this. As we now look towards 2025, and our football operations will continue, our football operations will be continued to be led by Chris Grier and Mike McDaniel with my full support. Their positive working relationship is an asset to the Dolphins, and I believe in the value of stability. However, the continuity in leadership is not to be confused with an extension that status quo is good enough. We will take a hard look at where we have fallen short and make the necessary changes to deliver our ultimate goal, building and sustaining a winning team that competes for championships. There you go, folks. That is your breaking news. The Miami Dolphins are not firing Mike McDaniel, which that's to be expected, to be honest. But what's really surprising is keeping Chris Grier, even though all of us have been calling for his firing for years, especially me. If I'm calling for it, then you know something is clearly wrong with the team, and they have failed to address it. We've been trying to tell them what was wrong with the team, okay? We've been telling them what was wrong with the team. And I'm going to say it again. I'm really going to say this loud and motherfucking clear. The reason why we failed is not just because of injuries, but you fail to protect the quarterback. You don't have a good offensive line. You don't have a good offensive line. What part do you not understand? We don't have a good offensive line. So that's loud. Is that loud and clear for everybody? Apologize for people who are sensitive to me yelling. But yeah, we don't have a good offensive line. And you also let people walk, okay? The players who are well-deserved to stay. Andrew Van Ginkel, you let him walk. Now he's having the best season of his career with the Minnesota Vikings. Hell, the Vikings are in the playoffs. They have a 14-3 record. Was it 14-3? Yeah, I think it's 14-3. They just lost to the Lions last night. Pretty good game. Who else? Connor Williams is gone, although albeit Connor Williams not that good, but you let him walk. Actually, I think he retired, to be honest. Who else did you let walk? I mean, Christian Wilkins was gone. He was a big asset to the defensive line. He was so good. You let him walk too. And now we have a front office that is just as bad as the situation with the Miami Heat. Now we have players that want to leave. You know, we have players that want to go. Tyreek Hill is hinting that he wants to leave Miami. Straight up said, "I'm out. I want to do what's best for my career." First off, you don't perform well when you're playing in big games. When the ball comes to you, you dropped it. Plain and simple. You dropped it. Everyone watched it. Everyone has receipts. You don't perform. And now it looks like Jalen Ramsey might be the one that's going to go too. I don't know. This is strange. I mean, Jalen Ramsey's story came out about 50 minutes ago today, actually. A violinist played for 45 minutes in the New York subway. A handful of people stopped, a couple of clapped, and the violinist received about $30 in tips. No one knew this, but the violinist was Joshua Bell, one of the best musicians in the world. That in the subway. Okay, he's talking about the subway and the violinist. I don't know what that has to do with him leaving. I don't know why this guy is even saying that, but and Anthony Weaver. Now I'm looking at Finn's Extra. Chicago Bears has requested to interview Miami Dolphins defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver. I'm pretty sure they're going to let him go to Chicago Bears, even though the offensive coordinator should be gone too. If you're not going to fire Mike McDaniel, at least fire the offensive coordinator, Frank Smith. He has proven he cannot call an offensive game. He cannot do it. And Mike McDaniel, I'm a little surprised he's still coaching, but at the same time, I'm not. Okay, he has an offensive genius in him when he wants to on games where he is comfortable with, as well as the games that he's not comfortable with. If that makes sense to you guys. See, when Mike McDaniel is coaching, he can coach well. He can really coach the games. The problem is the fact that he's challenging on calls that looks like it could be a challengeable thing, a challengeable call that looks good, but it ends up being like, yeah, it's a good call from the referees to begin with. He's not a good challenge. He's not a good challenge coach. He's not. He only won 4 challenges out of 20. At least 20. The other problem with the Miami Dolphins, as you well know, they're not serious. They're not a serious franchise. It's all about this, as Tua has proven its case. It's as you well know with Miami, it's a party city. They want to come down and have beers and drinks and have a good time. They want to have fun. They don't come here to work. And it's bullshit. It's so bullshit. And now, 25 years without a playoff win. That's why I was really hoping that Ross would open his eyes and really make changes. And now it looks like he's going to make the wrong kind of changes. And that sucks. And the reason why it really sucks is because the fans really deserve better. I deserve better. We've all want the same changes. Chris Grier, gone. Mike McDaniel, fans are divided by this, but he needs to be gone. One thing we can agree, Frank Smith, which I don't know, people have heard of him. He's our offensive coordinator. He needs to be gone. And now I'm going to call on something for Stephen Ross. You're unwilling to make changes for the franchise that deserves better. We want a serious franchise that can contend to win a Super Bowl, contend to win big games like the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, Pittsburgh Steelers. Example here, like Houston Texans, Dallas Cowboys, Washington Commanders. They're going to be a playoff team. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're going to have a very tough schedule next season. We're going to have a extremely is an overstatement, but a tough schedule next season with the Miami Dolphins. Okay, I'm gonna briefly talk about. Oh, god damn it! I'm gonna briefly talk about the schedule. I gotta go find it now. Give me a second, folks. But while we're in the discussion of it, this is where the Dolphins have fallen. This is where they've fallen hard. They don't win big games. They still didn't win a big game. The biggest, actually, no, I'm lying. The only big game that the Dolphins have won, which they're clearly capable of, is the LA Rams. The LA Rams, all right? The LA Rams was pretty much the only team, is pretty much going to be the only team that the Dolphins have a credible win. You know why? Because the Rams, they're in the playoffs. The Rams When we beat them, we held them to 0 touchdowns. And that was on Monday night, folks. Monday night football. Monday night football. But they're in the playoffs. They're in the playoffs. NFC side, who we beat in NFC? Okay, well, the Rams, the Niners. Okay, the Niners, not Niners. Yeah, we only beat the Rams and the Niners. We should have beaten the Cardinals because they're not a playoff team either. You see what I mean? They can coach. They can play games when they feel like they can play. So here's where we're at with the schedule for next season. Obviously, we got the division rivals twice. So that makes up 6. Then we got the AFC North. That's 10. We got the AFC North, the Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, and Browns. The AFC South, we got the Colts. And for the AFC West, we got the Chargers. Great. We got the Chargers. And for the NFC side, we got the NFC South. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Atlanta Falcons, Carolina Panthers, and New Orleans Saints. And then one more for the NFC East side, the Washington Commanders. 12-5 Washington Commanders. How the hell are you going to compete against that if you're not willing to make changes? Part of me wants to be optimistic about the Dolphins next season. I'm just not. I really am just not, if I'm being honest with you. In fact, a lot of fans, including Smoke, I think, is one of the first ones that are saying, boycott the Dolphins next season. That's bad. That is really bad for one reason. Is that the fans had enough of the ownership not taking this seriously. They had enough of the bullshit that they could clearly control and chose not to. And that's going to hurt the Dolphins' business. It's going to hurt them. The only reason I can think of why that they kept Chris Grier is not because of the fact that it is not because of the fact that because he knows what he's doing. The only reason I can think of to keep the stability of the Miami Dolphins regarding the how this team was built from Grier, or maybe, just maybe, an ongoing lawsuit of Brian Flores. I don't know. I'm making stuff up. I'm done talking about this. You guys have a good rest of your day. Let me know what your thoughts and your opinions and down below. It sucks being a Dolphins fan. I'll talk about football tomorrow with the Hurricanes, and actually the Hurricanes tomorrow and the Dolphins Wednesday. Because we got 2 games late tonight. The Panthers, at least they're backing us up. And the Heat, well, yeah. All right, that's gonna do it. I'll see you guys a little bit later on. Consider subscribing if you're new. And yeah, folks, I'll see you guys a little later on. Have a good one.